Hey, this is Rick Casalge from exercisesforinjuries.com. I wanted to welcome you to today's video. What today's video is on is 5 tricks for happier hips. Now, before I get to the tricks, let me kind of go through the importance of the hip joint. So the hip joint helps us move from sitting to standing and perform other movements like walking or squatting. Now, sometimes these movements become painful, and this is because the hips tighten up. And the hips can tighten up by tightening up in the actual joint. It can tighten up because of the tissue around the hip joint. It can tighten up because of the muscles around the hip joint. So one technique like stretching isn't going to be enough. We need to use multiple techniques to unlock the hip. Now, looking at those tight hips, if you don't really deal with them, a lot of times people will just ignore them. But if you keep ignoring it, not addressing it, it can lead to a number of things. Injuries, like chronic issues, kind of promote sedentary behavior, and really take away from the things that you enjoy. Oftentimes what I will see in people is they will, and you'll see them, if they have any knee pain, they will start relying more and more on their hips. And it's a great compensation strategy, but what happens with time is their hips go. And then because their knees and hips have both gone, now they do even less throughout the day. So they can't do the things they enjoy, like going for a walk. They don't want to get out of the chair because it's painful. They don't want to get out of the house because it's uncomfortable and not easy to do. Now, there's many ways to beat this and to overcome this when it comes to tight hips that you have, at home or at work. A couple tips that you can do is try to stand or walk when you're on the phone. What I really enjoy to do is if I have a phone meeting is to go for a walk and do that phone meeting while walking. Most of the times I don't need to be in front of my computer when doing that meeting. You should think about that as well, or standing while you're on the phone. The next thing is set little reminders to move around, to go for a walk. And this can be every half an hour, 45 minutes, or 60 minutes. And you'll notice when you take these little walking breaks or these micro breaks, this will help refresh you and energize you and give you more clarity so you work even better when you come back to work. Take the stairs and walk instead of taking the escalator or the elevator. These are little things, but movement is really helpful, and movement is healing. Now, I'll try to look at ways when it comes to commuting to your work or wherever you're going. Look to see if there's other ways that you can do it, like walking or biking or cycling. Or even if you do take the bus, try to stand while taking the bus. And if you have difficulty if your hips already bother you now, things that you can look at doing is doing exercises in the chair or even stretches in the chair. And I go through that in another video called 5 best exercises to do from a chair. So now that's a little bit of a background and some tips that you can do to help with happier hips. Now, let me go through 5 exercises that you can go through. I'm going to bring Jenna up, and she's going to go through the exercises, and she's going to start off with the happy baby exercise. Okay, good, and relax. So how this breaks down, you're lying down on the floor or on your bed or on a massage table or plinth like this. You're relaxing the upper body, shoulders, and neck. You're going to bring your knees towards your shoulders. You're going to grab your toes, and you're going to try to pull on those feet and try to bring the knees to the same side shoulder. So this right knee is trying to be pulled into that right shoulder. Looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity, for this one, sets would be 1, repetitions would be 2, time would be about 5 to 10 seconds, intensity is light, and the purpose of this one is to kind of stretch out that back part of the hip. Now, moving on to the next trick that you can do, it's thread the needle. So I'll get Jenna to go through it, and then we'll go through, then I'll kind of go through the details of it. Good. So with the thread the needle, you're lying on your back, relaxing the upper body, shoulders, and neck. You're going to cross one leg over, then you're going to bring that leg up, you're going to pull it a little bit further, and you're looking for a stretch in that hip area. Now looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity for this one, sets are 1, repetitions are 2, time is 10 seconds, intensity is light, and the purpose is really to target the muscles around the hip, especially that help with rotation, that oftentimes get stiff due to poor stability in the back and hip and from sitting too long. So that's 2 of the tricks. The third one is pigeon pose. Okay, good. So you're starting off going into like a 4-point position. You're going to bring one of the legs, up and across, and then you're going to lean into that front leg. Now, for some people, this might be enough, just getting in this position, really feeling that stretch in the hip, especially in the rotators. But for some people, they're able to go further, bring their there we go, lay down and bring their upper body down. Perfect. Now looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity for this one, sets would be 1, repetitions would be 2, time would be 20 seconds, intensity would be light, and the purpose is, once again, to target those rotators of the hip. You stretch out those rotators of the hip. Now moving on to the 4th trick, this is low lunge with reach. Good, and back. Okay, so breaking it down, so Jenna's gonna start nice upright, so head, shoulders, hips, and legs in a straight line. So you're gonna take a big step forward, bring that back knee down to the ground, and then bring the arms up overhead. And then she's contracting her abdominals and bring her hips forward. Good, and really kind of working on the movement in her mid-back, work on the movement in her low back, and stretching out that back, the front of the hip of that back leg. Now looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity for this one, sets would be 1, repetitions would be 2, time would be 10 seconds, intensity is light, and the purpose is to work on the mobility or movement in the spine, but then also stretch out that front of the hip. Now moving on to the 5th and final one, Yogi Squat. Good. So this is, so I'll get Jenna to break it down. So standing nice and upright, head, shoulders, hips, and legs in a straight line. Legs are about shoulder width apart, toes are pointed out. Then you're going to squat down as deep as you can. You're going to kind of sit into your hips so you can kind of feel the stretching happening in your hip joints, and you're going to hold that position. So I don't want to lean forward and put the stress on the knees. I want to kind of lean back into my hips so that stretching is happening in the hips. Perfect. Looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity for this one, sets are 1, repetitions are 2, time is 20 seconds, intensity is light, and we're looking at stretching out more of the capsule or that hip joint. Perfect. Thanks, Jenna. So there you go. Give those 5 tricks for happier hips a go. If you sit lots, if you have any tightness, if you have kind of any unknown aches and pains in the hips, give them a go. Now, if you are suffering from hip pain and tightness, what I recommend you to do is click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tips and Tricks that fight hip pain and tightness. Just click right here, let me know where to send it, and I'll send it to you right away. Now, if you're watching this on a mobile device, tablet, or smartphone, head down below in the description and click the first link, which will be exercisesforinjuries.com/hips. Let me know where to send you that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you got benefit from this video, make sure to like this video. If you have a question or comment for me, leave it down below in the comment section. And lastly, hit subscribe to get future pain relieving videos.